welcome to the Deacon Kirby Show. And you know, sometimes when you have grandparents are the funniest people on the face of the earth, because they will have arguments about anything. Stay tuned for some future Deacon Kirby shows, and I can tell you some of the arguments my grandparents had. I mean, when I talk about any type of argument, they will argue about anything. My grandfather, you know, chairman of the deacon board, and my grandmother, president of the usher board. One time they had an argument over who had the longest meeting, the deacons or the usher. They had arguments about using scissors inside the drawer. And this one argument I'm going to tell you today, it was one time coming home from church, and my grandma had a cold, and she was telling us all inside the car. My grandpa was driving the car down Board Street, and she says, you know, I was sneezing so bad in church. And you know, when old folks don't know somebody's name, especially the kid, they call them that, use the last name, and said that boy. And my grandma said, I was sneezing so bad in church. You know, that Johnson boy was telling me, God bless you. And I just sneezed so much. He said, well, Mother bless again, I done ran out of God bless yous for you. So, my grandpa, you know, we'll call my grandma, her name was B, and that was what she called it, B-E-A. So, my grandpa looked over to my grandmother, and he says, well, B, you know the German way to say God bless you. So my grandma looked at him, she called him Jimmy, and says, no, Jimmy, what's the German way to say God bless you? And my grandpa said, it's Gesundheit. So my grandma says, no, Jimmy, that's not no German, that's Jewish people. Translation, Jewish. Said, no, Jimmy, that's Jewish people. That's how the Jewish people say God bless you. Said, so Jimmy, what's the German way? And you know, my grandpa had a hearing problem. Yes, he had a hearing problem for a long time, so he ain't hear what she said. So my grandma looked at him and said it again and said, Jimmy. And my grandpa said, He said, I said, what's the German way? My grandpa had a high temper sometimes. He says, well, B, I done told you. It's Gesundheit. And my grandma says, oh, no, Jimmy, that's not no German. I said, that's the Jewish people. That's how Jewish people say it. My grandpa got kind of hot because, you know, saying that he was wrong. He said, B, I done told you. That's how the German people say it. That's how Germans say God bless you. So my grandma said, no, Jimmy, you can't tell me that, because I work with Jewish people. I spend around a lot of time with Jewish people, and that's how Jewish people say, God bless you. And my grandpa just got mad to that. He said, B, why you gotta be so thick-headed? I done told you that that's the German, that's how the German people say it, and that's the final, that's how the Germans say it. So my grandma said, well, Jimmy, you gotta prove it to me. So my grandpa got mad at that. He said, I don't gotta prove to you nothing. You know, the Pharisees, they question Jesus. Jesus had to prove to them nothing. So I don't gotta prove to you nothing. That's how the German people say, God bless you. They say Gesundheit. Well, that's gonna be the end of today's show. And if you really want to know who says Gesundheit between Germans and Jews, Google it, and when you find the answer out, you want to say to your neighbor, wonderful Savior.